Hi, and welcome to In Brandon. Today we're talking with Jill Brown and Chris Bromley, and they're both mental health workers with the Child and Adolescent Treatment Centre. Welcome.
Thank you.
So today we're talking about Stomp Out Stigma. What is stigma and how does it relate to seeking mental health support?
So stigma refers to negative attitudes and behaviors that some people might have towards individuals and children who might have a mental health problem. So this can cause delays in treatment, people not seeking help, fear of those negative evaluations of others, and it also can cause people to just not seek help from the people around them as well. Mental health problems are really common, so if we look at Canada, 1 in 5 people experience a mental health problem within a year, and 1 in 3 within their lifetime. If we take a look at when mental health problems start, about half of them start by the age of 14, and 75% would start by age 24. So stigma can also cause somebody to take those feelings that other people have about them and internalize it towards themselves, which can cause further problems and increasing problems related to their mental health problem. So we think it's really important to change the attitudes and behaviors towards mental illness at a younger age, so that we can have adults with accepting and tolerant attitudes towards people with mental health problems.
So we've got an event coming up. So Jill, let us know more about the Stomp Out Stigma event.
Okay. The Mental Health Commission of Canada, they have an Opening Minds effort, which is the largest effort to reduce stigma in Canada. There's been a lot of research behind it, and the Headstrong Youth Anti-Stigma Initiative was rolled out in 2014. There was actually a national summit in November of that year where 5 Brandon students got to attend. And then basically brought the Headstrong Stomp Out Stigma message back to Brandon, and we had our first summit in April 2015. So basically the initiative acts as a catalyst to coordinate organizations, schools, and youth to have an impact on reducing stigmatizing attitudes and behaviors, and increasing tolerance as well. The Headstrong motto, as you can see on my shirt, is be brave, reach out, and speak up. So SPIN was lucky enough, that's the Suicide Prevention Implementation Network here in Brandon, to be chosen by the Mental Health Commission to be a pilot site in Manitoba, along with Thompson and Winnipeg. So our second summit is coming up October 12th, 2016, next Wednesday, at the AR McDermott Complex. We use the Brandon Youth Centre and the Cultural Centre. They're a partner of ours, and they let us use that space. So essentially, there will be students from grade 9 to 12 from Brandon, and a lot of the rural areas are coming, such as Rivers, Elton, Carberry, Neepawa, Boissevain, Killarney, Sioux Valley School, Birtle, and the 3 Brandon high schools will all be getting together, students and some teacher champions as well. They participate in a day-long event with contact-based education, which is listening to speakers with lived experience. So young adults who have, experienced some sort of mental health difficulty, but have a message of recovery and hope. So they'll listen to the speakers, participate in breakout sessions to work on those destigmatizing beliefs and attitudes. The teachers get a toolkit at the end of the day as well to take back to their Headstrong teams, basically in their schools, to implement activities throughout the year to focus on changing the culture in their school, reducing stigma, increasing that tolerance. The students actually do a pre and a post test at the beginning of the day and then at the end of the day to see if there has been a shift in their beliefs. And just some of the questions, Dave, that they'll be answering. Most people with a mental illness are too disabled to work. For example, people with mental illness don't often try enough to get better. You can't rely on someone with a mental illness. I wouldn't want to be tutored by someone with a mental illness. I wouldn't want to be to take a class from a teacher who has a mental illness. And as Chris mentioned, this is a very widespread concern that we have to open up these conversations and have people accepting and tolerating all sorts of difficulties in our communities and in our schools. So we have partnered, the Headstrong Planning committee that we have is staff from Prairie Mountain Health, Brandon School Division. We have some health promotion coordinators, of course the City of Brandon, Brandon Youth Centre staff, and we have obtained funds. The Mental Health Commission of Canada didn't give us funds this year for this summit, but we were able to obtain grants through Healthy Together Now, Andrew Dunn Foundation, the Brandon School Division's Healthy Schools Committee, as well as the City of Brandon and SPIN have helped make this happen essentially.
So Chris, why is this important to our community? And what impact are you hoping to have within our schools?
So when we look at mental health and being mentally well, we look at the whole community, and it's not one person's responsibility or one agency's responsibility to have a mentally healthy community. It would be everybody in that community. So our hope is that by educating young people in mental health problems, having literacy around what mental health problems are, how to seek help, how to support the people around you, and how to identify those types of problems, we can build a healthier community going forward. We can look at different things and decrease the amount of problems and disability that can be associated with mental health problems by getting them help early, having the people in their life be supportive of their struggle and their difficulties, and helping them cope and helping them move forward with their life. We hope that if we have a community where everybody understands, or at least has a tolerant attitude and tries to work with people with mental health problems, that we can decrease the problems associated with mental health problems and have a much healthier community. And starting with the schools can then translate that into a healthier community when they become adults and teach their kids that information.
So what are some of the resources, the important resources in Brandon that people can access if they're having some mental health difficulties?
Okay. We do know that stigma often prevents people from accessing those resources, so we want to make sure that people are aware, whether it be in Brandon or the rural areas where they can get help. In Brandon, there is the Westman Crisis Services and Adult Community Mental Health Services for children, the Child and Adolescent Treatment Centre. There's also the Manitoba Suicide Line. A lot of the local resources as well are on the Prairie Mountain Health website, pmh.ca, as well as spinbrandon.ca, with all the different numbers to the rural community mental health workers outside of Brandon. And we're lucky that we do have a lot of great resources in Brandon. When we talk about students that are going to be coming to this summit, their school counselors or resource teachers might be there as well, and that's a good resource for them too. When we think about stigma, a lot of people say that stigma is actually worse than the illness itself, and we just want to make sure that people aren't suffering and are reaching out to get help.
So is there some contact numbers and stuff that people can call?
Sure. So Westman Crisis Services, the 725-4411 or 1-888-379-7699, toll free. And the Adult Community Mental Health, 204-578-2400. CATC's number is 204-578-2700.
Right. So is there anything else that you would like to put out to the public?
I just think we are lucky to be able to have this initiative in Brandon, hoping to be able to make some headway into making some changes in our community, in the schools. It concerns me that 40% of parents say that they wouldn't even tell their doctor that their child was having a mental health problem or difficulty because of stigma. And we just know that we can improve that here in Brandon and the surrounding area.
And if they want more information on Headstrong and the Opening Minds Anti-Stigma Project across Canada, it would be on the Mental Health Commission website, which is www.mhcc.ca.
Excellent. Well, Jill, Chris, thank you for coming in today.
Thanks for having us.
And hopefully we've opened up some people's minds about stigma and mental health issues that, don't be afraid to speak out and look for the help.
Mm-hmm. Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.